Hi everyone, it's Viktor speaking, and I'm here today to make a video about applying and separating aspect. And I would like to give you a little bit of an insight why they might be important, because they mean a little bit different when you've got something which is applying and when you've got a planet which is separating from another one. So this is going to be typically about your natal chart. I've already made a video about fake trines, fake oppositions, fake sextiles, and so forth. So you might want to check out that video to know which one is the most important aspect in your chart. So let me start explaining how to figure out whether you've got an applying or a separating aspect. So an applying aspect is when you have got a faster moving planet which is getting closer by a degree to the slowly moving planet. So let me give you an example here. Let's suppose that you've got a Venus and the Saturn square going on in your chart. Firstly, you have to determine who is the faster moving planet, because always the faster moving planet is approaching the slower moving one. So the faster moving planet is initiating the contact with the other planet. In this case, between Venus and Saturn, the planet of love, Venus, will be the faster moving one. So let's say Venus is going to be on 20 degree of Aries, Saturn is going to be, let's say, on 25 degree of Capricorn, then they are forming a square and Venus is the faster one. So she is applying an aspect towards Saturn. So imagine that, let's say Venus is going 1 degree a day ahead. Saturn is a very slow moving planet. It is maximum gonna go 0.02 degree a day. So if today Venus is on 20 degree, tomorrow it's gonna be on 21 degree, the day after tomorrow it's on 22 degree, and so forth. So basically the distance between the two planets, what we call as orb, which is kind of a magnetic force, is getting smaller between the two planets. And that's what we're going to call as an applying aspect. I will show you a chart as well how to work with them very shortly. But before we do that, let's just see what does applying aspect mean and what's the difference between applying and separating. Applying aspect usually indicates that it is going to follow you through in your entire life. That's something which is coming at one point. That's something to do with your future expectation. Usually applying aspects are a lot stronger. The keywords probably would be some type of potentials, heat and frictions, coming soon, future, or if it's a negative aspect, then basically the pressure is building up within the person. So what you should remember from this little list is that applying aspect talks about future. Now, separating aspect would be the opposite. Let's say we had Venus on 25 degree of Aries and Saturn being on 20 degree of, for instance, Capricorn. In that case, those are separating because already we had a perfection going on between those two planets when Venus was around 20 degree as well. Now, the separating aspect talks about the glory days, something to do with the memory, history, something which is fading away, and it happened in the past. How I usually describe this to my student is that basically a separating aspect is something like which is, it doesn't mean it's not going to manifest in your life at all, but it's more psychological because usually a separating aspect means that it happens at an early age of your life, let's say somewhere in the first 20 to 25 years of your life. And if it was a negative experience, then that could be kind of haunting you in your entire life. So basically that's going to be the difference between separating and applying aspects. In very rare cases, you also have got exact aspects when they are on the exact degree. And that's what we call in astrology as partile aspect, basically a perfect aspect. And that is talking about those type of area in our life tends to be about perfection, something to do with a very intense energy, which if it's a negative energy, you're gonna have to release that energy. If it's something positive, then probably you're gonna have to work on to be able to manifest those. This is a kind of energy where the two planets has no other choice but rely on to each other because they are walking hand in hand, basically. Now, if you are unsure about, the speed of the planets, a general rule is that Moon is the faster moving one out of all the 10 planets, or even if you count Chiron, then 11, followed by Mercury, followed by Venus, then the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, then we've got Chiron, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So that would be the list of order of the speed of the planets, starting with the fastest one, which is the Moon, and the slowest one is going to be Pluto. So one more time, you're gonna have to check whether there is an aspect between the two planets. If there is, ask yourself the question, is the faster moving planet, does the faster moving planet have a lower degree than the slower moving planet? Because if it's lower, then it means that it's gonna be an applying aspect. I hope that makes sense. So I would like to quickly show you an example. This is just gonna be a short video today. I'm trying to give you a little bit of a knowledge, an extra knowledge how to approach aspects. So for instance, I'm gonna bring up for you Emma Watson's chart. She's one of my favorite ones to use as an example when we're talking about applying and separating aspects. And today I'm going to be focusing on Jupiter and Venus. You can see that Venus is in Pisces, Jupiter is in Cancer, and they have got a trine going on in between them too. You can see this is a separating one because the faster moving planet has already got a higher degree than the slower moving planet. Now, when it comes to planets such as Mercury and Venus, who tend to be moving with similar speeds, then you're gonna have to look at, if you've got an astrological program, then look at the speed and then you can decide who is gonna be the faster moving one or not. So for instance, in this example, you can see that Mercury is moving 0.46. I'm circling at the bottom of the screen, and Venus is moving 104. So actually Venus, if there was an aspect happening between Venus and Mercury, then Venus would be the faster moving planet. By the way, we do have a sextile between them, and therefore this is going to be an applying aspect. But let's just go back to our Venus and Jupiter separating aspect. So now what we can discover about her chart straight away, that Venus is in an exalted position because Venus loves being in the sign of Pisces. You can also see that in the essential dignity table where it says exaltation right there. And you can also see that Jupiter is quite in a strong placement as well, because Jupiter is also exalted. So we've got two planets in a very good placement, and they have got a very nice trine, but this is a separating trine. And what we said about separation was that it is about memories, glory days, something which is fading away. Now, we do know about Emma Watson that she was a little star when she was approximately about 13, 14 years old. She was playing a role in Harry Potter. And basically, when she was about 18, 19, she said that she earned so much money that she doesn't need to work in her entire life anymore if she chooses to. And why can we see that? To start with, Venus is ruling her second house, which is something to do with the financials. And we've got the planet of financials connecting to Jupiter, which is in the 11th house. Now, 11th house is so much to do with popularity. That's the house of fan clubs. That's something to do with basically when you show your talent to other people, as well as the house of gains. That's the house of salary you get from the work you do. The second from the 10th house, money earned from the profession I do. So no wonder why basically she became a millionaire at a very young age. As I said, separating aspects tend to be manifesting in our life somewhere in the first 20, 25 years, I would say. But then after they start fading away. Okay, the applying aspect tends to be following us through the entire life of ours. Don't think for a minute that the separating aspect, if you have got them, they are not going to cause you any harm or any benefits, because it's like kind of a memory in your DNA. So the separating aspect in when we talk about negative ones, they can be haunting you, and the good aspect actually, it's like a memory that, you know, like whatever you learned in your childhood or whatever you experienced, for instance, in the first 20, 25 years of your life, that still has got an impact on your life. But the separating aspect is more about a psychological energy rather than a concrete event taking place somewhere in the future. Good. I hope that makes sense. Now, when you're looking at aspects in regards to your angles, such as the rising sign or the midheaven, basically they are moving extremely fast, but I wouldn't necessarily look at it that way. I would, but just looking at the actual planets. Let's say I want to be looking at if, for instance, Mars is going to be doing anything with her midheaven. And I can see that we've got a applying aspect there, because that's on 2604, the midheaven is on 2613. So Mars is actually getting closer to that angle, right? But this is also an exact aspect. So that's what we call it as like exquisite type of energy, something which is all about perfection. And that's very, very supportive towards a native. So let me know what type of applying aspects you have got. The more you have, the more opportunities those give, especially the positive ones. But the reason why I made a video about fake trines and so forth, because not every single trine and sextile are going to be as good as we imagine them. So listen to that video as well. By the way, I'm going to be coming up with a couple of webinars which might interest you. One of them is about planets in fall and detriment, whether they are really bad or what can we do about them. And I'm also going to be holding a webinar on Cassini and combustion, how to work with them, what does it really mean in your birth chart. So tune in and check those out on my website. Thank you very much and have a lovely day. Bye-bye, everyone.